Nigeria, the Nigerian Super Eagles, will be taking on DRC Congo in the FIFA playoffs. In the final of the FIFA playoffs, I should say, on Sunday. Now, the big question is, how should Nigeria approach that game? For me, the first step is psychological. But I mean, going to that game, definitely everyone knows that Nigeria is the better side. Nigeria has the players with better pedigree, have the players that are more accomplished in Europe, more skilled, more talented, I would say. But let that be what the fans will talk about. Let the fans rave about that. Let the fans talk about that. Let the fans go crazy about that. Let the fans get wild about that. Going on, Nigeria is the best. Victor Osimhen is better than whatever striker DRC Congo has. Benjamin Frederick is better than whoever they have in their defense, better than the entire back line. Let the fans do that. Let the Nigerian football fans go crazy. For Eric Chelle, for the Nigerian Super Eagles, that is not your business. You should see DRC Congo as the best side you've ever faced in your life. Going to that game with the right mindset, be positive right off the bat, be aggressive when you're on the ball, be aggressive in the press. Don't let them get any confidence. Yeah, DRC Congo, they play 4-3-3. They beat Cameroon 1-0. And reports were Cameroon were the dominant side, but DRC Congo set their stall out, defended astutely, and then when they had the opportunity, they took their chance, and that was it. And that's it with football. Sometimes you see a team get an early chance, 1-0, and you feel, oh, there's time. We still have 75 minutes left to go, but it ticks on. Then the game is over. You're done. So the same thing applies to football. Would apply to this game as well. No chance. If you have your first chance, take advantage of it. Now, given the fact that DRC Congo will be most likely playing a 4-3-3, what should Eric Chelle do? Should he switch up his style of play and go to a 4-3-3? Or should he stick to the 4-2-2-2 that has brought him success so far? Because once he switched over to 4-2-2-2, I think Nigeria hasn't lost any game. Rather, Nigeria has won all the games that the Super Eagles played using 4-2-2-2 under maybe 1-2 minutes under Eric Chelle. So maybe for me, you go with the same 4-2-2-2 formation, but be dynamic with it, right? When you don't have the ball, you collapse all the wing forwards into the midfield, and then maybe you collapse one other striker, so you end up playing with 5 in midfield. Kind of, you already have 2, you play 5 in midfield and you have one striker ahead of them. Maybe you do that. I do know the Super Eagles have sort of the minerals, the players, the pedigree to switch to 4-3-3, because that's the formation that overall is a traditional formation for Nigeria. But I think sticking to that 4-2-2-2, but being dynamic when you're using it, and would serve the team better, because that's what the team has been used to over these coming days. But let's see how that shakes out. Now for Congo, who are their top players? You've got Chancel Mbemba. He scored the lone goal in the game versus Cameroon, their victory over Cameroon, 1-0. And then you've got Muswako as well. You've got former Manchester United player and I think current West Ham United defender Aaron Wan-Bissaka. So they've got some good talent in their team. So Nigeria, I don't think you've even earned the right to take anything for granted, because if we were that good, we would be in the World Cup already. We would have been already qualified automatically for the World Cup. So we don't have the right to take anything for granted. Yes, we want to say we're giant for Africa and all that stuff, but for me, take this game like you're playing against Brazil. Approach you with that level of seriousness, like you're playing against Argentina with Messi in his, at his prime, at his apex, at the apex of his best. So you take this game very seriously. Now there are talks about Victor Osimhen probably maybe the captain with indeed suspended. I think that would be fine, because I think he's someone that would thrive being the captain. He's already a leader in the team. The way he riles, he riles his teammates up, motivates them, pushes the team. He already does that anyways. If he's the captain, he'll do that even more. If he's not the captain on the pitch, it doesn't matter. Still, he'll still be a leader on the pitch. I know some people might say choose Ekong, but for me, choose Ekong needs to be on the bench. I think we can all agree that choose Ekong's position, or role rather, is coming off the bench. 10 minutes to go, 15 minutes to go, being an additional centre back. Because Calvin Bassey and the man of the moment, Benjamin Frederick, their partnership is beautiful, and you don't want to upset such beauty. And of course, at right back, would you go with Bright Osai Samuel again? Yeah, and that's why I have to hold the NFF accountable. You came into a tournament like this with one right back, so that's where you are. He's played poorly, in my opinion, against Gabon. So, but you can change him. That's it. You look over your shoulder as a coach, you don't see anyone that can come in and be a right back. Because if you take Benjamin Frederick out of that centre back position and play him as a right back that he has strived in moments, I would admit, you create a vacuum that no one can really feel in that defense. Because Semia Jai will come in and play differently, Chus Ekong will come in and play differently. That means the defensive line will have to be several meters in Nigeria's own half, and that means the whole dynamic of play just changes. So you have to go with Brink Samuel, so. But looking at Ademola Lookman, I just feel like his head is not here. I think he's someone that really needs to be absolutely confident, everything working well for him mentally to go on and play. He's a top talent, we know. But I just think, no, he should be on the bench. Maybe have a Chidera Duque coming in for him. And Samuel Chukwueze, does he start? Maybe have to go with Simon Moses this time around. And that's why I hold the NFF again. Philip Potele, available, on form, scoring goals and creating goals, coming up with assists for Basel. You didn't invite the player. What are you thinking about? You had only Ademola Lookman, Chidera Duque, Samuel Chukwueze, and Simon Moses. And you know that Eric Chelle wants to play this 4-2-2 formation where you're having two wing forwards, and you have someone who can be the next guy to Ademola Lookman in Philip Potele, and you refuse to invite him. You have Simon Moses, who is a prototypical orthodox winger, hold the ball, dribble, byline, crossing. So that makes the tactical setup of the Nigerian Super Eagles instantly different. So that's an issue that Eric Chelle will have to grapple with. But for me, I think it's more psychological how the Super Eagles start the game. Start it on the front foot, put the pressure on. And I think Wilfred Ndidi may be out for this one as he's suspended. So who comes in for him in that midfield for me is a player I already think is better. It's a better option, it's a better choice in that midfield. And Rafael Onyedika, I think he should be in that midfield. And he alongside Ebenezer Kinsimir, I think are the future of Nigerian football, at least in that central midfield role. Although Ebenezer Kinsimir, for whatever reason, wasn't called up for this game. So that's how I would say Nigeria can defeat DRC Congo, the way they should set up, playing the 4-2-2 in possession, but out of possession. You choke up that midfield, and then psychologically don't go into that game like how Nigeria went into that game versus Denmark. Remember that game years and years ago where Nigeria was to play Denmark, and then instead of thinking of how do we cope with this team, how do we beat a team that had Schmeichel in goal, how do we outwit this team, everyone was thinking of how do we beat Brazil 4-0. That was crazy, right? Absolutely maddening. Didn't focus on the team in front of you. You were thinking of how you're going to trash a supposedly formidable opponent ahead of you, and then eyes off the ball, and ended up getting 4 goals smashed into our own net. So going into this game, don't think about anything else. Don't think about any other team. Don't think about the inter-confederation playoffs where you're going to play against New Caledonia, Bolivia, or whatever. Just focus in, honing on this game, so, and then as well, don't do anything to defeat yourself. All those errors, that's why I'm a bit skeptical about Bright Osai Samuel. Don't defeat yourself, because in games like this, you concede 1 goal, and then the pressure of being the favorite now is on you. The other team hunkers down, defense deep, and may decide to hit you on the break, and then you're in a spot of bother. So Everyone must be fully focused and concentrate fully and make sure we don't defeat ourselves. So at this point, I've come to the end of this video. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and do hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell as well, so you're notified each time a video comes on the channel. And I'll see you on another video. Stay well, stay blessed. Bye bye.